Okay. Here we go with the second game, and it is Team Island. So yeah, it's kind of materializing right there that it's gonna be Team Islands and Migration, so basically 3 water maps in a row. And it's kind of brave, it has to be said by Gauchos, because at this point they need to realize that BFs are really, really good on water. And even though they are fighting on their water quite often and are very competent and basically can take down good opponents on it as well, it's a bit of a risk. It's a bit of a risk. I'm kind of thinking they could have prepared some kind of backup plan based on how the first game went. But yeah, well, maybe it's gonna be needed, or rather not gonna be needed, and Gauchos are gonna be taking this map home quite confidently. Let's wait for that, because yet again, they did beat NHN, the new Hell Hunters, that basically were quite a lot of favorites, or rather quite high favorites in their matchup, quite confidently in the last 2 games. It was kind of both islands, but yeah, still, they performed very well. Especially the last one, the Decide was actually quite fun. It was on blind random, which basically meant that they took Spanish. And they played with Spanish on water. That's completely weird. That's just a civilization you don't use at all. And what they did, they basically fast castled and dropped the castle onto enemy island. That was really such weird islands game. And it was absolutely funny. So if you're interested in islands that are played absolutely not like islands, then definitely give that a look. The new Hell Hunters round of 16 versus Gaucho B. 3rd game blind random. You can find it on our stream. That was really one hell of a game, and it's recommended for kind of the Break the Meta series or something like that, because that was strange. That was definitely strange, and basically just showed how capable Gauchos B are of thinking on their feet and basically adapting to the situation. So here we go. For example, with the civilizations, it's gonna be, well, a bit different. You can see Huns, Mongols and Vikings for Gauchos. These are good civilizations for Team Islands, landing and whatever. For the opponents though, we are looking at Japanese, Vikings and Mongols. So they have basically done with Huns and are going for Japanese, which are in the pocket. That's a bit of a luck, of course, right now for BFs. But it's gonna be fairly confidently, I'm gonna be saying fast castle by them. That should be really quite good. A good boom by him, as he's already dropping a dog in the middle. And that the same is gonna be apparently for his allies. You can see J squared on the right. On the left side it's gonna be Elkvark with a bit different color than in the last game. But otherwise their opponents, how are they actually making up their dogs? So far yellow is coming to the backside. It seems like that... This is actually very interesting. The Black Forest are showing confidence. They are basically gonna be trying to control the strait between the islands, which is kinda all about, or rather what the map is all about. If you control the middle, you are gonna be also controlling the opportunities for the opponents to land, and for yourself to land as well. So of course, you need to be really careful about that, but it really seems like that only one is gonna be made coming forward. He's the Hun. That's fairly surprising. I would be really expecting that especially Viking would be coming to the middle, because Viking is expecting to be basically pulling the brunt of the effort. But he's coming to the back, and, well, let's right now turn that off. I have finally switched the keyboard into Czech, so I know where the exclamation are, or rather is, as opposed to actually the English version. But, oh well, come on. That's not good. Yeah, I was having just a lot of idle time in there. What's, for example, interesting here? Apparently we won't be having any kind of problems with placing dogs or whatever. For example, even at the back, there are plenty of fishes absolutely everywhere. There's not any kind of blind spot that I could be seeing, even in the middle. Potentially something here, but it's not really that bad. You can see even on one screen you are having just a little blob in the middle in that, so nothing all that major. You can just place the dogs wherever you want, it's still gonna be fine. And as the feudal ages are finally clicking for Mate and Elkvark. And these are the Vikings? No. These are Huns and Mongols. Okay, that kind of makes sense for Elkvark, of course, as the Mongol. Hrvatsin at 20 villages. For the Mongol. And 18 for Mate. That is an interesting difference, since they are Hrvatsin at the very same time. That is kind of strange. And maybe some kind of misplay by Mate a bit. Not entirely certain. He did have the boars right there. But it's definitely significant advantage, of course, right about now for the opponent. Well, let's see how that's gonna be developing. Kinda interesting, as the pocket players Well, Exoro is coming into village fairly quickly, you can see. Who is still stuck into the Dark Age is Pingui on the left side, just right now clicking in 21 villages. 20 villages, all 3 for Philip AJS as well. So he's not even gonna be fast castling. That's a bit of a surprise. Would be expecting that maybe he will want to join the teammates a bit later. Based on how the games went though, he's probably thinking that better be safe than sorry. And he's gonna be just joining with his teammates quite soon. And probably they have actually watched what their opponents are doing. And if they did, then they kinda know that Gauchos do like to land kinda fast. And that might be the reason why they actually all are going for the fighting in the early game. Because if you control it again, the middle of the, or rather between the islands, then you're gonna be denying any kind of opportunity for the opponents to actually land you. Okay, a bit of a problem right now for Exodus. He was coming for a second or whatever dock. Well, yeah, it's probably gonna be second. You can see one at the back. And then he's gonna be switching into the middle. Or is he? Apparently not. A few more wolfies. It would have been the death of the villager, but this is kind of strange. He's gonna be switching into market, so this is looking like some fast castle by him. But kind of strange, because he did go with basically normal villagers, and he is not producing anything in the middle. So it's almost like he would want to actually advance into fast castle and land. That could happen. That could happen from a pocket player, and I could definitely see that. See that working. So let's see how Black Forest are gonna be actually able to deal with that. As right now, of course, on the right side, this is gonna be quite an interesting fight between Mate and J Squared. They should be having quite a nice fight. Viking against Gaucho, or rather, against Hans. Could be coming, of course, for the Viking in the early game. Might be equal, but a bit later it should be coming for the Viking, but he needs to do a whole lot better job at the micro, as of course right now Mate is quite punishing him, and quite badly, and apparently it's even gonna be needing assistance from Philip AJS. Unfortunately for Mate, he's not gonna be having assistance at all. As yet again, we have seen that, yep, you can see Exodo is absolutely not interested in the water. He's basically rushing into the Castle Age. Yeah, Castle Age is gonna be there. And, well, Elkvark doing a great job. Great job indeed. Right now denying the dog. That should have been a dog by the villager. He was hoping for that. But he needs to basically continue doing this. Otherwise, some knights and maybe even Castle Drop is gonna be sneaking by. Is it gonna be like Castle Drop or something? Where is stone? No. It's gonna be just normal horses. Which makes sense. It's kind of safer and more normal. As on the left flank, it's looking very promising for Elkvark. Yeah, which is also the reason why he could be having some kind of scouts in the middle. And of course, Pingui having quite significant issues, which is a bit of a problem for him. Because he is the Viking and he should be basically pulling the brand and allowing his teammate in the middle to basically be uncontested with his attempt at early landing. Which is definitely gonna happen, and it's gonna be all about Elkvark being at the correct place at the correct time. Okay, let's see. Bit of scouting by Mate, potentially at the back. Did he actually win the water battle in the middle? Well, he did have the advantage, but Philip AJS was all over him. So I don't expect that he should be really winning all that much. Yeah, he really isn't. This is basically just right now looking behind and potentially seeing if maybe there's something to kill, like pocket economy or whatever. Which is not exactly true, so yeah, he's not gonna be finding anything at all. As on the left side, Pingu is still getting kinda owned at this point by Elkvark. And really, this is just gonna be the only claim for Gauchos that I could see at this point at making something interesting with the game. Because he's gonna be having significant issues. You can see that BFs are absolutely full aware of what the strategy of Gauchos is. They are knowing absolutely 100% what they plan to do. And this is exactly the reason why he's so impatiently right now patrolling here, as before Elkvark was as well. But yeah, Elkvark was, or is right now, just a bit more interested in punishing Pingui in full. So how's the transport actually gonna be happening? And from what? And from whom? And what not next? Blue coming around the island, trying to see if maybe there's something to kill. Yeah, and there will be, for example, this little economy by Exodo. As Exodo is through, having a few idols here and there. And what's gonna happen then? What's this? This is kind of funny. Now this is an interesting spawn. Basically the map trying to do something a bit different and kind of stopped in the middle. As town centers are coming up for Exodo and... Huh. Huh. Is he actually switching into something altogether different? Because at this point I would be really expecting him trying to rush on the other side of the water. And he really isn't. He really isn't. So it seems they might have recognized Exodos teammates and him, aka Gauchos of course, that maybe it's not such a good idea, that they don't have all that many chances how to actually put themselves across the water, which is definitely true, even though right now it's actually not. There definitely could be a transport that could succeed, because BFs are not paying enough attention right now. They could be definitely punished by that. But luckily for them, it seems that Exodo is switching to something a bit different, which seems like some kind of faster boom by the Mongol, which is interesting idea, but not entirely certain what it's gonna be leading to. Because so far he's of course kinda useless on the water, or rather useless, he's just not there. So he's not even useless, he's just not there at all. Oh, here we go. Here went the landing. Okay, so yeah, I was really looking for that, and I completely missed that. But luckily, I caught it in time. So landing did happen, but in a very weird place. So far, no flaring. You can see no flaring by BF, so far they don't know. Come on, this is stupid. Just don't do that. Like, why? Why would you be so impatient? I mean, it wouldn't be so much better if you waited for about 3-4 nights. And then the villages wouldn't be able to retreat. And you would be basically making so much more damage to your opponent. That's, I think, a bit of a mistake in that. That could have been played slightly better. But still, they did succeed with the landing. And, well, still they're gonna be right now giving their opponents quite a lot of time to prepare, even though Siege Workshop is coming right in, actually right now. Elklark's face, and okay, right now we're gonna be in for the real deal. As of course the horses are gonna be trickling slowly in. But also has to be said that the economies are not exactly huge. That, of course, the economies are gonna be suffering significantly. There is not gonna be any kind of boost from the water for Gauchos at all. And they are they actually right now slinging fully into Exodo? Because they definitely should. Let's check. Oh, they aren't. Huh. Okay, so this is so far. This is so far only Exodo. And he's even gonna be switching into Scorpions here. Excuse me for a second. And I would be really thinking that if he was slung at this point, he could be just a whole lot stronger. And a whole lot more surprising for Elkvar, because right now he already does have the stable. He does have some barracks, so he could be producing at least a few spearmen or whatever. And much more importantly, he's right now in true castle age. And that will of course allow him to produce horses. And basically the same numbers as of course to his opponent. Right now this is gonna be a bit of a tribute by J squared to Elkvark. So Elkvark is gonna be fending for himself with a bit of economical help by the teammates, which is of course making plenty of sense. And making even a few camels here is gonna be disrupting, of course, what Exodo is doing quite significantly. In the meantime, Exodo is also trying to switch somewhere else, having the horses in the middle trying to stop the wall in, which is exactly successful. You can see 3 villages already killed. With a bit of help of Wolfies, apparently, there were 2 of them. And even though Green did plug at the top, you can see plenty of idols for him. Yeah, well, this is maybe a bit of a surprise for actually BFs. And they are not exactly happy about what's going on. You can see all of them basically trying to wall. Oh, this hurts. These are probably standing here for quite some time, because these are berries. And we are at 23 minutes, so these guys are probably really standing there for quite some time. But at any rate, on the water is basically done deal, which is gonna to be expected. So it's gonna be all about, maybe, Pingui at the bottom, who might have some kind of claim on the water a bit later. He's the Viking, so potentially he does. He is in the castle, he does have the war galleys, as opposed to, of course, J squared, who needs to run at this point. But if he's gonna be joined by, for example, Elkvark on the water, then, yeah, they could still take this on. Even though it will be kind of bad battle, they could still overcome the numbers in here. Otherwise, of course, you can see that Philip AGS is having plenty of boats himself in the war galley variety. Seems like he's not gonna be having the numbers in the end all that much, as of course plenty of raiding is still going on in Philippe AJ's base, because unfortunately he just couldn't finish with the walling, and it seems that it's not just gonna be finished yet. Yeah, even the house is basically to disrupt the wall. That's very well played by Exoro, and Gauchos definitely do have a chance right about now, even though they are all over the place, and this doesn't seem to be really working all that well. As Elklark dropping another stable, gonna be already second one, and being in the castle age, he is quite confident that he can deal with any kind of buildings and whatever that has been landed in that part of the map. Yes, some red boats gonna be killed by, of course, Philippe AJS. Otherwise, where are the villages for deal? Where do we have them? Have they... or are they still here somewhere? Kinda thinking that maybe not. Oh, there is still one. Okay, one is still apparently alive. And trying to bring up some mischief with Monastery. Which is of course a nice idea, because he's gonna be converting a few of those schimmels. On the left side, maybe a few villages here and there. That's definitely gonna help him. But all of those knights from Exoro, they are basically all over Philippe AJS. And of course, you can see that Gauchos are even jumping ahead on the score. So this is how much of a problem this actually is right now for Black Forest. And this still might be quite an open game, even through the water being all kinds of funny. But it's getting even more funny, because it seems that the Fs maybe thought that the water is done. But yet again, this is the same thing as happened in the first game. Black Forest looked like they basically won the game on the water, but suddenly they stopped making boats, and Gauchos, they just didn't stop. They just didn't stop and came back, and that's exactly right now what's happening here. And the technological advantage is seeming to be pretty real, especially for Pingui, as he's not really facing Philippe AJS, who is also having the war guys. But that's probably just for a short time, as, yep, the numbers are definitely not in his favor, but he is doing a very good job trying to keep the opponents busy, and much more importantly, giving as much time to his teammate as possible. And he is having so many knights running everywhere, but at the same time he's also having plenty of camels right behind him. So of course this is gonna be next attempt what to do. Right now 2 monks already hidden the monastery, maybe to steal a few villages here and there, maybe some units as well, as he's apparently switching also into a few spearmen and of course some veteran rams, and to maybe get through the wall, or maybe just destroy Philippe AJS. That could happen. Could happen, I don't see why. But since J Squared is already advancing into Castle Age as a Viking, though, he is gonna be a whole lot more interested in closing the deal for real on the water. Yeah, again. But he will definitely have to hurry up, because Mate is coming back as well. Already in the Castle Age, gonna be switching into War Guys pretty soon. So the water is suddenly wide open. Suddenly wide open, and there is a very good reason why Gauchos are leading by 500 points. More or less out of nowhere on the team score. They are... This is not really exactly comeback, but it's almost looking like one. Because Gauchos, they are basically executing what they wanted from the very start. It's just working. It's just simply working for them. And apparently Black Forest are pretty much taken aback, it seems. I'm thinking they are fairly surprised what's actually going on, and how they actually missed the landing, and how much of a problem it is for them right about now. Even though it really shouldn't be, it's not that hard to defend, but still, this is not gonna be easy, and they're probably having problems somehow reconciling how to fight both water and land at the same time, whereas Gauchos, they are not having that much problems with that. And oh, this is the reason for all the infantry. Okay, to be having the sprinting battering rams. Okay. So here we go. And not really gonna be that sprinting apparently, but they should be still a bit stronger. As bit of interesting walling coming up by J Squared. Unfortunately, yet again, wasn't able to finish. Wasn't able to finish yet again. And of course, all of those monks, that's gonna be kind of problem, because they're gonna be stealing all kind of available units. And considering that actually blue is not really fighting for the land at all, like literally at all. Oh man, those idols on there right next to the wall. This is gonna be all about Elklark actually right now helping his teammates. Okay, that's very interesting. And of course quite problematic, because the monks are gonna be stealing plenty of camels. Plenty of camels absolutely everywhere. Let's go back to the water battle for a moment, which is in a bit of a recess it seems like, as Pingui with Mate are retreating from the might of J Squared and Philippe AJS, their own war guys, as though Imperial Age is gonna be the very first one for Pingui. And oh well, looking for example in the economies at this point, Gaucho 70, 92, 55. Wow, that's a lot better than Black Forest. Black Forest are 69, 42, and 47. So you can see how well is Exodus booming at this point. At 92 already. That's more than 20 better than the next on Black Forest team. And otherwise, the other players are really pretty well playing as well. So at this point, this is looking very dire for Black Forest. And this is exactly the power of home maps. Even though it might be looking you are not exactly really winning in the early game, which kind of was the case here. If you execute properly, and if you do execute the sneak, it can just work out, and so far it definitely is. And the economies are definitely gonna be pulling them forward, because the GGs are just now being called by BS, and it has to be kind of strange for them to lose this game, because they were really looking so strong, so incredibly strong on the water. But all it takes is this little landing and execute it to perfection, and the economies just basically absolutely ran away from Black Forest. They absolutely weren't ready fighting, or rather for fighting on the land, and just really couldn't reconcile fighting on both fronts at the same time at all. They just somehow couldn't handle it. Well, let's see if on their home map it's gonna be a bit better for them. But this also means that we're gonna be seeing the fourth map. It's gonna be the second set on Ontario. So that's fun. That is most definitely fun. Yeah, migration, you can see. Okay, so third water in row. Okay, let's check the achievements. Let's check the achievements as we are tied at 1-1. Pingui. Well, was a nice comeback on the water. Nice comeback on the water. But overall, really nicely executed strategy by Gaucho. And even though I'm 100% certain that Black Forest really knew what was coming, they really played like that. They knew what was coming. They just still couldn't somehow stop it. And it cost them the game. That's how well it was actually played by Gaucho. Okay, GG.